And I will say this part is a shame because my opponent didn't even show up for a debate. This was a algorithm, Fox News, social media mess because it had nothing to do with character. It had nothing to do with being on the right side of right. It had all to do with illusion. But that's why we stand strong and we move forward. We're not done. And I'm so proud of everyone. I am so proud of everyone that I met and all the volunteers. My volunteers were astounding. Kristen Self is not here today, but we also have Cherry Stanbaugh, who was my campaign manager and still my good friend on the campaign. We have my son, Ryan McCray Ely, who's joining us, who's always been a great champion of mine. He has to be because I'm his mom, right? And Mary Noon, I tell you, she's been my PR person, and I will say this. Some of this is my fault because she wanted to go after Jim Banks really hard, and I held her back and said, well, maybe we shouldn't say that like that, maybe. But now that I look at it, I should have let her loose a long time ago. I think we played too nice too long because this guy didn't even come up for a debate, and that was disrespectful to Indiana voters. It was disrespectful to women, and I'm not going to let him live that down. We will not let him live that down. And we're going to have to make him show up for Indiana the way he hasn't showed up for District 3, but now he's got to show up. And we'll be right there to make sure he does. But I'm so proud of everyone that I ran with, and the friends and the people that I met out here were absolutely astounding. And so we built a family. And so family, we just have to be family together, and we will have to fight this fight. And you know what? We did something big here. I fought this fight with hardly no money at all. We had, I don't even want to talk about it. But what we built was a bunch of volunteers that were astounding. I had medical doctors and attorneys and biochemists and, I had them all. Environmentalists. They were volunteers on our team, and they did it from the goodness of their heart. And if I were to add all that together, we were a multi-million-dollar campaign. And that's what people, I'm humbled by the fact, I'm humbled by the type and the caliber of people that joined our campaign. That was a blessing that sometimes I didn't think I deserved that, all of that, but we do deserve it. We all deserve this support that we have. Moving forward, let's just see what's next. Let's take this momentum that we have. Let's cheer Kamala Harris on because she's going to be a great president. Yes. And Indiana, we just need to work on it a little bit more because we're not that far behind. We are in striking distance. Just give us a little bit more time, and we got it next time. Anyway, I'm Dr. Valerie McCray, and it's been a great run, and I look forward to serving you again in the future. Thank you very much.
All righty. Well, I think our next speaker is going to be a little too tall for this podium, so that might give you a hint on who it is. Indianapolis is represented by a great member of Congress in Andre Carson. And while it's a little too early to report, I think that it would be pretty fantastic if Andre Carson is serving alongside a new U.S. House Speaker in Hakeem Jeffries of New York. He is a fighter for Marion County. He is a fighter for Indianapolis. He has gotten so much done in his time in Congress. He is the dean of the Indiana Congressional Delegation. please join me in welcoming our member of Congress here in the 7th District of Indiana, Andre Carson.
Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Democrats, thank you. Hoosiers, thank you. Indianapolis, thank you. It is a supreme honor to represent you in Washington, D.C. It is an honor that I do not take for granted. It is a supreme honor that I take very seriously. In fact, since I've been in office, I and our team and the voters, I've listened to you. We've brought back hundreds of millions of dollars that have helped secure and create Hoosier jobs. We have worked with the Biden-Harris administration to cap insulin at $35 for folks on Medicare. We've worked with the Biden-Harris administration to pass the PACT Act to help our veterans. We've worked with the Biden-Harris administration to help pass the bipartisan infrastructure bill that has secured Hoosier jobs and inconvenienced some of us, but just know that Indiana's getting better. And an announcement was made for our biotech sector. We have one of the largest and fastest growing biotech sectors in the country, thanks to your representative and our team and your issues. But also, it's a new day. We've got to give a shout out to Chairman Mike Small. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dana, State Party. Got to give a shout out to Dr. Valerie McCray, Destiny Wells, and Jennifer McCormick for running great races. I want to let you know that we should never give up, that hope is in front of us. Despite what we're seeing on TV, despite the talk, the fear-mongering, the hatred and division, we have to be united as Hoosiers. Whether you're a Republican, whether you're an independent, whether you're with the Green Party, or whether you're a good old Democrat, know that our issues aren't that different. We all want the same thing at the end of the day. We want jobs. We want safer communities. We want a secure future for our children. And we want to make sure our taxpayer dollars are being represented properly. That means the money that comes out of our checks are reinvested in our communities. That means the money that comes out of our checks are being used to protect our teachers, are being used to make sure that men aren't in office making decisions for women. That means that our taxpayer dollars are also looking for a safe space for Jewish brothers and sisters, a safe space for Latino brothers and sisters, a safe space for black folks in this country, a safe space for Arab and Muslim brothers and sisters, a safe space where we can see a peaceful solution to the Israeli-Palestinian question. Finally, we want to free Gaza. We want to free the Congo. We want to free Sudan. We want to free Indianapolis. But we can only do that when we realize that our party is the party of America's future. Our party is the party of promise. Our party is the party of hope. Doesn't matter if you're black, white, if you're a theist or non-theist, there is hope for you in the state of Indiana, and there's hope for you with the rising and changing Democratic Party. Thank you. I'm honored to serve you. We love you. Team Carson loves you. Let's go, Indiana. Don't give up. And let's elect Kamala Harris, the next president of the United States. Thank you. Love you, man. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
I could really use a hype team. That would be. You got me, Jane Phillips? All right. All right, we have two final speakers before we close out our evening. But before we get to our next speaker, I just want to thank everybody for coming here this evening. Please give yourselves a round of applause for being here and for participating. You know, some of the results that we got tonight are not what we had hoped. But I do believe, as the Congressman said, that our party is strong, and I think that it is getting stronger. We're starting to recruit, and we're starting to build the bench of the next generation of Hoosier Democrats, and I'm very proud to be a part of it. Just a few months ago, we weren't sure what our ticket looked like, and let's not forget that we changed our presidential nominee in the middle of the summer, going from Joe Biden to Kamala Harris. But I'm proud of this entire ticket. All women, I might add, for the second cycle in a row. I think that that is very important. And also, sending back to Washington, D.C., we're sending back Congressman Frank Mervan in the 1st Congressional District in Northwest Indiana, one of Andre's partners. Also good news tonight, I know Mila, and I do want to give a shout out to the entire State Central Committee. Some of those members are here. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you for being here. But we have promising news tonight. Victoria Garcia Wilburn, a fantastic state representative. Mitch Gore here in Marion County, wonderful state representative. We're electing a new representative in Evansville, Alex Burton, fantastic guy. And a couple races, Thomas Horrocks outside Bloomington and Tiffany Stoner in Zionsville, all look very promising tonight. Lastly, I want to thank Hoosier voters of all political leanings for turning out in the numbers that they did over the last month, by early, by mail, or in person today. We continue to be the party of voting rights, and I think I agree with everybody here that we want to live in a state where more people are able to register, vote, and participate in the electoral process more freely and more effectively. Both parties, in my opinion, should be doing more to improve voter participation in Indiana. And lastly, before we get to our two final speakers, I want to thank our candidates, every single person who ran on the ballot in Indiana this cycle. I want to thank their teams. I want to thank their volunteers. I want to thank our supporters, our allies, and I also want to give a special shout out to my team at the Indiana Democratic Party for their fantastic work. They make our party strong, and each day I am proud to be a Hoosier Democrat. So our next speaker, she built a very, very strong campaign in a relatively short period of time to take on, you know who, Todd Rokita, an attorney general who has been disciplined not once, but twice by the Indiana Supreme Court. She outraised him down the home stretch and spread a message of standing up for women and ending the culture of corruption in the State House. She came up short tonight, but we're very, very proud of our candidate for Attorney General, Destiny Wells.
It's not going to go down. Hey, everyone. So while tonight's outcome, you know, it's come with its curveballs, I'm still going to stand here with all of you tonight. Thank you so much for everything that you have done my family, my husband, my kids, our team who is partly here on stage, mostly here on stage. Thank you so much. They really, really dug in these last couple of months and pulled off some miraculous things, like raising over $1 million in just a couple months. I know, right? And then also to all of our supporters and donors and operatives and people on the ground, thank you so much. Look, change is incremental. Mike just stood up here and he told you about some of our wins. We held our ground in the state legislature. We did not concede any seats so far. In fact, we have only gained. We have only gained. I called Todd tonight. Inside joke, I told him he was going to stay the top banana. If you've been on his website, you know what I'm talking about. He said it was a good fight, right? And I also said to him, I very much look forward to a peaceful transition of power, no matter the presidential outcome. That's what is important. Look, it's been hard. It's been 3 long years. But you cannot live in your losses and your sadness. You have to live in the joy and of the changes, right? We have seen tonight that we have made enormous ground throughout the state of Indiana. Largely, we have started to swing back to the left. These things do not happen overnight. And it takes all of us and our sacrifice to wake up our neighbors and to let them see what is on the line, right? So while we hope for the best, and I've told everybody, as long as I can wake up on Wednesday and my future commander-in-chief is Kamala Harris, everything else is just a plus on top of that. So let's continue to get to work. Let's identify those areas that we struggled tonight. We know where they are. We know. We've known for a while, right? So let's start to attack those. Let's acknowledge so many people across the state who have made up ground. I'm telling you, I have the privilege of traveling the state. I have the privilege of going to Congressional District 1 and seeing Congressman Frank Mervan's ground game running circles around people up there. They really are. And Congressman Carson holding his seat here. We will make gains. We will. That's all that we have room to do. And I thank you, and I just want you to know,
All right, folks. You got that right. So our final speaker tonight gave Mike Braun a real run for his money, I would say. She ran to make sure that Indiana's kids have a better future. She ran so that teachers could have more of a voice and more opportunity to teach future generations, that our unions would have more strength in our state to build it up, and she ran so women could have the freedom to make their own healthcare choices. She ran one heck of a campaign against Mike Braun. I really, really, really want all of us to give a huge, huge round of applause to our candidate for governor and her running mate, Terry Gooden, Jennifer McCormick.
Absolutely. Right back to you guys. Absolutely. Okay. You know the saying goes, let's go, let's go. I tell you, absolutely, absolutely. Tonight, I want to first of all thank all of you. To my family and to my friends, I know you are up on the stage. I know you are in the crowd. But I have to tell you, although tonight wasn't the result we were looking for, we have so many wins. So many wins. But it's up to us to take advantage of them. But first of all, let's thank some people. So I first want to thank my husband, Trent, who has... When I said I was running for governor 18 months ago, there weren't a whole lot of people going, yes, you can do this. But Trent was like, go do it, and you can do this. So it matters. It matters. And my favorite person in the world is also here tonight, my son, Kale. And his fiancee, Grace. I know her parents are here. Carrie and Hans are in the crowd as well. I also want to give a shout out to my family, my brother Matt, my sister Michelle, and their families. They are all, I think, still here somewhere, but I want to give a shout. There they are. I want to give a shout out to them. And most importantly, I want to give a shout out to my dad. He has been amazing. I also want to give a shout out to Terry Gooden, who is the best lieutenant governor candidate in the state of Indiana. And a shout out to Darcy, his wife, who is also an amazing human being. Their entire family has sacrificed as well, and I truly want to acknowledge every single one of the Goodens because they are a strong, huge tribal family that stays together, and they are amazing. So thank you, Terry. You represented us well. Thank you. I also want to give a shout out to our amazing team and our badass campaign manager. Where is she? Kelly Whitman. As Governor Walz said, never underestimate a public educator. And boy, you got three of them right here to prove that. Kelly has been beyond amazing through this whole entire thing when there were a lot of people that said, you guys don't know what you're doing and you don't have the experience you need. And I was like, just watch us, watch us. And I will tell you, she has been just incredibly, incredibly focused and committed. And my family likes her better than they like me at this point. But she truly, Kelly, is an amazing friend, an amazing human, and she has been amazing. And to our entire team, they've put everything they have into this race. And although we're small, we're mighty. And we gave Senator Braun a run that not very many people thought we could do. And we did it because of this team. I also want to thank everyone who donated your time, your treasure, your testimony, your talents. I cannot thank you enough. It has truly been humbling. It's hard enough to run for office, but then when you throw in, you are begging people for dollars, and people just weren't real sure, and then those dollars started to come, and it was the individual donors and the unions and the DGA who pulled us over that so we could be competitive. And I thank them so much. To Mike Schmoll and his team, I think Mike's back in the back. You know, I know that is a thankless job and it is hard, and I want to acknowledge them as well. To all the county leaders and statewide leaders of our party, my gosh, thank you so much for all the support and your patience with our team. We truly, truly appreciate it. This race was about a lot of important things, and that has not changed. It is about making sure that women have reproductive freedoms. That's what this is about. This race is about making sure that every Hoosier has access to affordable health care, and that has not changed. This race is about our kids, and it's about celebrating public education and uplifting our teachers and supporting them. This race was about good paying jobs, making sure that we got our wages up, making sure that we're supporting our unions. And it was making sure that we could give Hoosiers a reason to come here, to stay here, to live here, to play here, to learn here, and have a quality of life. And that's what we went across the state of Indiana and talked about and educated Hoosiers. And none of that has changed. None of that has changed. There are a lot of people in this room and a lot of people on those cameras who know extremism will not win in Indiana. Not today, not ever, not ever, not ever. We are better when we are together. We are better when we're diverse and inclusive. And that is not just for today, that's about the generations behind us and the generations behind them. We have to make sure that we are embracing all, and all means all. And I would be remiss if I didn't point out, I know we are moving forward, but during this last campaign cycle, every single negative campaign ad went after our transgender kids. And I want them to hear this from me. I want them to hear this from me. You are part of Indiana. You are who we are. And hate has no place in the state of Indiana. No place. No place. We love you and we respect you. And you have to know that's who we are. That is our responsibility. As we move forward, we will work with the Republicans. We will work with the Democrats, the Independents, the Libertarians. We will work together as one. Because Indiana, again, is stronger when we are together. But starting tomorrow, we still have work to do. We still have work to do. And we know when we stay committed to that work, great things happen. And so tonight, we congratulate Senator Braun and a lot of other Republicans who won this evening. We will go into tomorrow knowing we still have work to do, because you know who's depending upon that? Our kids, our families, our communities, and the great state of Indiana. It has been truly my honor to represent all of you on the campaign trail. This is our fight. This is our fight, Hoosiers, and this is our time, and don't let up on the momentum. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And Hoosiers, let's go.
Sanchez.
And I'm Dakari Turner. We will be joined by Indiana's best political team in just a moment. We'll start with that governor's race. As you can see on your screen, it has been called for Republican gubernatorial candidate Mike Braun. You just heard, if you joined us here at the top of the hour, from Democratic contender Jennifer McCormick, losing that race with 41% to Mike Braun's 55%. We are going to bring you our team coverage tonight. For now, we want to tell you who we have. News 8's Tim Spears is following the McCormick campaign, but we start tonight with News 8's government reporter Garrett Bergquist, who's with the Braun campaign.
Well, the party is beginning to wrap up here at the Indiana Republican Party watch party, although there are still a fair number of people standing around. We waited quite a while to hear from Braun. The AP called this race a little after 7 o'clock this evening, but Braun did not speak until close to 9. The mood was jubilant all evening as election results came in. Supporters cheered wildly as Braun finally took the stage a little bit before 9 o'clock. This is the 6th consecutive win for Indiana Republicans in governor elections. Braun recalled his underdog status in his run for Senate 6 years ago and gave us a hint as to his plans for the future.
We've been blessed beyond any measure. All I can tell you is now we've jumped this hurdle, this hard deadline, and really, I can't wait to hit the ground running, taking this state to a place where they put us with Texas, Florida, Tennessee.
And once again, the celebrations continue here at the JW Marriott downtown. Tomorrow morning, we will hear from Braun. He will fill us in on his transition team and tell us a little bit about his plans as Inauguration Day approaches. That will be on January 13th. Live at the JW Marriott in downtown Indianapolis, I'm Garrett Bergquist for Wish TV, wishtv.com, or follow us on Facebook for updates.
All right, Garrett, thank you very much. Let's bring in two members of Indiana's best political team now. This is Hamilton County Republican Party Chair Mario Masalamani. Good to see you guys. And former Deputy Chair of Engagement for the Indiana Democratic Party, Dana Black. Good to see you, Dana, as well. We'll start with you and get reaction on Governor Braun's, or soon-to-be Governor Braun's win.
So it's incredibly disappointing, actually. I had hoped that Indiana would see that extremism would be something that we would say, okay, no, we're not doing that. Hopefully, now that they have won, they will leave the white Christian nationalism, the book banning chaos creation that they do with Micah Beckwith in the past, and they will, focus in on how they can help all Hoosiers and not just a select few of Hoosiers. To hear him say that he wants us to be like Florida and Texas as an African-American gay woman is terrifying, because what I'm hearing is don't say gay and we're going to erase African-American history. I hope that is not the direction he wants to take our state. I hope that he is sincere about focusing in on Indiana's economy, because Indiana's economy has been ran by Republicans for the last 20 years, and if Hoosiers don't like the direction of our economy, they need to look at the people that have been running our government in the state of Indiana for the last 20 years. So I hope that he believes that he has what it takes to get us out of the bottom of every statistical category when it comes to the quality of life in Indiana.
Mario, I'll let you respond.
It's amazing. The Democrats talked about how there's a vibe, how they're going to take Indiana, and it wasn't even close. If you look at the numbers right now, they're up by at least 14, 15 points. This was a mandate. They were talking about how Braun would not even get over 50%. And I think the main point is the Democrats tried to do two things: paint the Republicans as extreme, and the Hoosiers didn't believe it, and two, all Jennifer McCormick talked about was abortion. The problem is Hoosiers are suffering. Hoosiers can't pay their mortgage. They can't pay their rent. They have a hard time filling their gas. They look at their grocery bills. It's skyrocketing. They look at the problems. And 70% of Hoosiers think that the country is going in the wrong direction. And they blame that on Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's failed policies. That's why Trump won this state so easily. And that's why Braun won this state. Because they understood that Braun has an executive background. He has the experience to get in there as a governor and work on making sure that Indiana is taken from good to great. And I think that Hoosiers clearly reflected that today. And they didn't believe in the extremism that Democrats and political pundits tried to paint Republicans as.
How could they not believe it when they were actually his own words when he said, if you do not assimilate to the American culture, we will round you up and deport you. And these are his words.
Dana.
So whether or not they don't believe what their ears are telling them, I don't know. But this is what he said. Now listen,
Dana.
and I'm gonna push off back on something else. You said the only thing she talked about was abortion, and that is absolutely not true. She was a teacher, she was a school superintendent, and she talked about public education as much, if not more than she talked about abortion. Apparently, Republicans weren't listening, and that is okay. But if you want to talk about Indiana's economy, you have to talk about the people who have been in charge of the purse strings in Indiana for the last 20 years. So if Hoosiers are struggling, if you are having issues with your pocketbooks, you need to look at the people who have been controlling the purse strings in Indiana for the last 20 years, and that supermajority, House Ways and Means, control the budget. And this is a budget year. If you're having problems, you need to talk to the Republicans.
No, Dana, because, you know, they're not in charge of the gas prices. They're not in charge
Actually,
of
we have the highest gas tax in the country. So how could the gas prices not be about Republicans, which they raised again this year?
Dana, if you look, there's a reason why Joe Biden is looked at so poorly in the state of Indiana. People understand that the Democrats are to blame. You're trying to blame this on Republicans. Look at Indiana.
Just because people
no, hold on. I let you speak. I let you speak,
right?
right?
Just because people don't see the truth doesn't mean the truth isn't the truth.
Listen. Jennifer McCormick talked about abortion. She might have tried to talk about other issues, but look at her commercials. She talked about extremism, abortion. Hoosiers didn't resonate. Look at the results, okay?
That doesn't make a message true.
Look at the results. She didn't get any message across because she didn't have a message. All she talked about was abortion. And abortion, unfortunately, doesn't help Hoosiers understand how they're going to pay their bills, how they're going to have interest rates low,
it does.
how they're going to...
Actually, it does.
Well,
if you have an unwanted pregnancy and you can no longer do some of the things that you wanted to do, like finish school, doesn't that impact your personal economy?
Dana, you know how many African American friends I talked to, and they were voting for Trump. And
not as many as me, I bet.
And they were voting for Braun and Trump, and they said, listen, all the Democrats are talking about is abortion. They're not relating to us.
Yep, and they don't care that women are,
apparently
they didn't care that women are going to be dying.
And you will see how Indiana and also the country is coming out in big numbers comparatively with African-American men.
We're still keeping an eye on that tonight.
And wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute. African-American men, it's only maybe 10 to 15%. 10 to 80, if you're getting 85% of the population, you cannot count that. Democrats have not won the white vote since 1968. So you can't blame what happens in an election when it comes to Republicans on a 15% black turnout.
A 15% black turnout for Republicans? Guess what? Republicans are going to win. 15% or 20% black turnout, Republicans are going to win in the state.
85 to 90% of black people are voting for Democrats.
And if you look around the country,
it's not black people.
That's all Trump needs to win.
It's not black people.
Well, we'll see how that all plays out. A spirited debate, of course. As I expected this to be a little bit spirited, and we'll keep you guys on throughout the evening. Thank you so much. Good conversation there. Much more to come here on Wish TV. Stick with us. We will be right back.
The home of Indiana's best political team. Wish TV. We are local.
Seasons may change, but your source for weather remains the same.
And with 70 years forecasting your local weather,
Wish TV is your source for the most reliable and accurate fall forecasts.
From pop-up storms and sunny skies to weather trends impacting your season.
We're here to keep you informed, on air, online, and in the app, so you can enjoy fall to its fullest.
Watch the Stormtrack 8 Weather Team on Wish TV. Brought to you by Hensley Legal Group.
When the phone rings here at our office, people are often calling us on the worst day of their lives. It is our job to make sure all the problems and the stress is taken off of your shoulders.
After I called, it was so easy. They helped take care of all my worries, so all I had to do was focus on getting better.
Great service, great results. It really was just that easy.
KidNow really did help take care of everything for me. It was fast, it was easy, and I got a great result.
All you have to do is call. It's just that easy.
Call 1-800-CALL-KEN.
When you need inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger. For thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals. And low prices that add up to big savings, like over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
I'm so happy. I just put this dress on that I haven't worn in over 10 years.
I just this morning made a new hole in my belt, so that was super exciting.
Why are women everywhere choosing Sonobello, the advanced solution for permanent fat removal?
I saw the results immediately. It's the best I have felt since I was in my 20s. My waist is tiny. I'm very, very happy.
I'm nearly 50, y'all, and my abs haven't been this flat since before I had kids.
For a limited time, take advantage of Sonobello's best offer of the year. Sonobello's board-certified surgeons use micro-laser technology to safely target and remove your diet-resistant fat cells for good on your stomach, hips and thighs, back, and so much more.
Check it out. Snatch waist. Loving the results. It will change your life. It did for me.
Call 1-888-321-5152 now or go to sonobello.com to claim special pricing.
I'm Hannah Mordeaux. Watch us every morning on Daybreak here on Wish TV.
Welcome back. We have been giving you Indiana's best political coverage all evening. Attorney General, that race, we move to that now. Todd Rokita claimed victory before that race was even called. Here is where that race stands at this hour. As you can see, Todd Rokita elected to his second term as the state attorney general, garnering at this point 59% of the vote to Destiny Wells, 41% of the vote. Let's go right to News 8's Cody Fisher, who has been following the race all night long. Cody.
Yeah, Todd Rokita took the stage in front of a cheering crowd here at the JW Marriott, as you said, before that race was even called, but that ended up not mattering considering he did win that race. And he started off his victory speech by saying he will focus on cracking down on illegal immigration before he highlighted some of his other policies.
Continue to defend Indiana's pro-life laws. And we will continue even to return unclaimed property to Hoosiers. We will do all this and more. We will never forget that we get our marching orders from the people of this state and not the other way around.
Speech by saying he will work to prevent anybody from under the age of 18 from getting transgender transition care, and he also said that he would try to prevent them from competing in sports against biological women. Now, he also did not take any questions from the press tonight, but we don't know exactly when he might do that. Reporting live at the JW Marriott, I'm Cody Fisher for Wish TV, wishtv.com, and remember, follow us on Facebook for updates.
All right, Cody, thank you for that tonight. Let's flip now to the Democratic side with News 8's Danielle Zokoski as she follows the Destiny Wells campaign.
Dakari, Destiny Wells did take to the stage earlier this evening to concede in the Attorney General race against Todd Rokita, the incumbent Attorney General. Now you can see things are kind of wrapping up around here. Disappointing night for Democrats across the state. It's been kind of a muted night here in downtown Indianapolis, as most Democratic races had to be conceded. All of the statewide races were conceded to the Republicans. Destiny Wells did address supporters and celebrated with them in the progress that they made, saying they dug in these last couple of months, raised quite a bit of money in only a few months. They talked about how it was a short campaign and that change is incremental, that they have done a lot of work in this state. She did call Attorney General Todd Rokita to concede tonight and says that she looks forward to a peaceful transition of power across all offices as election results come in these next few days and hours. She says that we have to live in the joy of now, and she is looking forward to seeing change as it happens.
We have started to swing back to the left. These things do not happen overnight. And it takes all of us and our sacrifice to wake up our neighbors and to let them see what is on the line, right? So while we hope for the best, and I've told everybody, as long as I can wake up on Wednesday and my future commander-in-chief is Kamala Harris, everything else is just a plus on top of that. So let's continue to get to work.
Wells says Hoosiers need to continue to get to work, as you just heard her say, no matter what the outcome of any election is, both in this state and in this country. She wants to see Hoosiers supporting each other and has preached unity throughout this process. I'm Danielle Zolkowski for Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook for updates.
All right, Danielle, thank you very much. Let's bring back in Mario and Dana. Let's talk specifically about the Attorney General's race right now. Was that one that you were surprised about, Dana?
So I wasn't surprised about any of the outcomes.
Okay.
Disappointed is the word that I would say, because again, I know that he says that the Hoosiers are not going with the extremism, that they're not buying the truth. But Tyrikita has more complaints against him. He has complaints against him right now. He has a complaint filed from other Republicans for disclosing HR information about Destiny Wells when she was in the Attorney General's office. He spends more time at the Mexico border versus the Kentucky border, where he should be working on things to improve Indiana. He didn't go after the Medicaid fraud of $700 million when FSSA is short $1 million of, where families are being kicked off of rolls. So Tyrikita hasn't done the job that he needs to do. And this isn't about rhetoric. These are actual filed complaints against him. And again, I don't understand how Hoosiers are willing to accept people who are not actually looking out for them.
Go ahead, Mario.
Listen, everyone knows I'm not a fan of Tyrikita's. However, here's a problem as a political pundit. Listen, as a political pundit.
By the way, you guys are very friendly. Just to be clear.
So I'm a Republican. She's a Democrat. But we can get a.
But we're also humans.
We
are all having our own human experience on this planet.
And we might disagree like 80% of the time, but we still can be nice to each other.
Absolutely.
Right? And here's the problem. As a political pundit consultant, Destiny Wells is great on paper. Okay, she has a military background, she's worked at the AG's office, but she just doesn't connect with people. And Dana and I might disagree, but I have a lot of friends that are Democrats that are pretty high up in the Democrat Party in Indiana, and she just does not connect well with people. She's like Melina Kennedy, great, experienced person, but never was able to connect with people. And this is the problem. I see Destiny Wells tweeting all the time. But how does she do when she connects? Look at Jennifer McCormick. She did well, right? You'll see that her numbers against Braun are a lot closer than Tyrikita, who might lose his law license in February.
He could. They're voting for a guy that could lose his law license.
Yes, but that's because Destiny Wells cannot connect with Hoosiers.
So to that point, since we are talking about the voters, let's talk about voters in your backyard in Hamilton County, because earlier on today, we were looking at the numbers and things look like they were at least going a little bit more purple. Speak to that a little bit, Dana, and also maybe for the future of the Democratic Party here in the state of Indiana.
So we have a lot of work to do, and there is no getting around the amount of work that we have to do. We need to put together a 10-year plan on how we're going to do this grassroots work. When the population increases, then it becomes more purple, more blue, and that is what's happening in Hamilton County. We've seen the successes of Democrats in Hamilton County, and you can tell when we're doing well when Republicans spend money in Hamilton County. Last year, they spent a decent amount of money to make sure they held on us to some municipal seats. Again, they spent money again this year. One, I don't think we had a strong enough District 5 candidate to run against Victoria Sparks. That was somewhat problematic because that would have helped if we had a stronger candidate there. But I believe that there's an opportunity. We just have to get more people out there talking about our policies, because when Hoosiers actually hear our policies and what we stand for, they tend to agree. But when we're stuck in this who is the latest boogeyman, like trans kids, then they go off into some other never land.
Do these numbers worry you, Mario? Why?
It's funny because at 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock, CNN and Fox News was saying that Hamilton County was going blue. I was getting text messages from people. The problem that the voters don't understand is that Republicans, no matter how much I preach over the last 3 years, they do not vote early. They do not vote by absentee ballot. And so when the early results came in, everyone's saying, oh, Hamilton County's going blue. Well, as turnout came out, the election results, there's usually about 7 different reports that come out. Guess what? Braun then started taking the lead. Trump started taking the lead. And what I looked at was Danny Lopez's seat. Okay, Danny Lopez was running in an open seat against somebody who had run before, who took 3 months off work, knocked on 18,000 doors. 18,000 doors. He raised almost $500,000 spent in that district. And Danny Lopez will end up winning by about 8 percentage points in Carmel.
It was very close all night long. It was, it was neck and neck.
But Phil, here's the problem. That's because you're looking at early voting. Yeah. By the time the numbers all come in, Republicans will have won by 7 to 8 to 10 points. I don't consider us a purple county when we're winning races by 8 points, 10 points. Victoria Sparks won by 14 points. Jim Banks won by a lot. Right. You know, so if you're,
you know what? Can I agree with something real quick?
Go ahead, real quick.
I would say though, that's why it disturbs me that they call races so early with 11% of the vote. I agree with him. Yeah. They should not have called and said Hamilton County was blue until you had all the votes in. We should be calling states with only 11% of the vote in when you haven't turned in Marion County, you haven't gotten Lake County or
promise
Vanderburgh.
We'll get back to you guys. Okay. You're here with us all night long. Thank you very much.
Agree on that.
All right, there you go.
Coming up later here on the newscast, the Indiana Hoosiers got their own kind of election results, and tonight, as the College Football Playoff Committee made their first selections. More on that coming up a little bit later in the newscast.
Wish TV News, reaching more Indiana homes than any TV station in the state.
My name is Alicia. When I was diagnosed with breast cancer, it was devastating. I thought my life was over, but then I was introduced to the care team at Community MD Anderson. They asked me if I was interested in clinical trials, and I said, yes. I leaned into it, and for me, having that opportunity, it was life-changing.
I've been able to help nearly 1,000 Indiana homeowners sell their house on their timeline and their terms. Selling a house is a major decision, and being bogged down by strict timelines, repair requests, adds stress that you don't need. That's why I believe in being straightforward and honest with you about the many different selling programs. I buy your house as is. You don't even have to clean it or clear it out if you don't want to. Visit benbuysindyhouses.com to learn about Indy's most trusted way to sell your house.
Allie S. asks, how many devices can my Wi-Fi handle?
That's an easy one, Allie. The average home has more devices than ever.
But our gateways are engineered to handle hundreds.
So not only will they work today, they'll also work tomorrow.
That's our new intern.
Thanks, buddy. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Now through December 22nd, power all your devices with fast, reliable Xfinity internet for just $35 a month for 12 months and get free Wi-Fi equipment included.
Some days you can feel like a spectator in your own life with chronic migraine. 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more. Botox prevents headaches in adults with chronic migraine before they start. And treatment is 4 times a year. In a survey, 91% of users wish they'd started sooner. So why wait? Talk to your doctor.
Effects of Botox may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Side effects may include allergic reactions, neck and injection site pain, fatigue, and headache. Don't receive Botox